All right. So, you know, you gotta teach these other nations too, man. You know, these other nations are gonna have to learn what's gonna happen, man. All right. We ain't gotta be rah with these Edomites, man. We can talk friendly with these Edomites. All right. But at the end of the day, we still gotta give them their judgment, man, because their judgment is gonna happen, man. All right. The Most High is not a man that he should lie, man. Everything that he says is gonna come to pass. It's gonna come to pass. He said that we were gonna go into slavery, right, on ships. Did that not come to pass? Yes, it did, man. And it said our enemies are gonna have the same judgment times 2. All right. So that's gonna come to pass. All right. So, anyways, man, let me get let's get Jeremiah 51. Because what's going to happen is, in the midst of World War III, which is going to be a nuclear war, the Most High, right, is going to send his son back, Yahushua, right, which is a so-called black man, by the way. The Lord, according to the Bible, is a black man with white woolly hair, according to the Bible, man. All right, a woolly afro, man. All right, and a big bushy beard. All right, he's not coming back looking like no pale-faced Edomite, man. All right. And it says, this is Jeremiah 51, and I'll start at verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind. And that destroying wind is speaking about the nuclear wind. Okay? When you watch an example of the atomic bomb, right, or the nuclear bombs hitting, there's a wind that comes with it. That's what it's speaking about. That nuclear wind hitting ground zero with the warheads. That's what he's speaking about. That's going to hit Babylon, all right, which is America, all right. And it says, and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. Right? And the bow is speaking about the nuclear silos, man. The arrow would be what? Would be the nuclear missile. It's known as an arrow or the sword in the scriptures. It's all parabolic, man. All right, when you speak about that, but it's speaking about the nuclear missile. All right, and it says, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her loss. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets, like it. For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of the most of his power, of the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. All right, so the Most High is still going to do all this for what? The deliverance of his people, man. All right? The Most High, listen, the Most High doesn't play when it comes to his people. Any nation that took us into captivity, right, and did wickedness unto us, the Most High had a grudge against that nation. How much more grudge do you think he has against these so-called white people, man? Because they did the worst out of all these other nations. Going back to the Egyptians, they did worse than all that. So the Most High has the biggest grudge with them, all right? And it says, for Israel had verse 6, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. All right? So these other nations, they drank of the wine of Babylon, all right, which is the philosophy, okay, which Babylon's America, okay, and they've been drunken by that, man. So they uphold that, right? The philosophies of feminism, of democracy, okay, homosexuality, transgenderism. These are the philosophies that Babylon has spread around these other nations and forced these other nations to take hold of, man. Okay? And it says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunk of the wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her, take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. Right? So Babylon is America. America's going to be completely destroyed. That's why it says Babylon the Great has fallen, man. All right? That's a famous saying, man. Because America's going to be completely wiped out, man. And Donald J. Trump is the perfect guy to do it, man. That's why we're so happy he's in office, man. All right? Because he's the guy who's going to bring World War III. All right? The average Israelite, they get all upset. Oh, this guy is racist. He's this and that. All these devils are racist, man. Okay? You think Hillary Clinton's any different, man? They're all the devil, man. All right? The whole point is this. Right? Is that he's gonna make these nations hate him faster, man. That's what it's all about. Okay? And once he does that, that's the nuclear war. That's why Iran is threatening America so much, man. Because they're like, man, this fucking piece of shit. All right? All right? And these other, not only them, but his own allies hate him, man. France don't like America, man. Okay? And they hate America even more because of this guy. So that's the prophecy of the beast burning the whore with fire, man. Okay? Which is Babylon. Everything is falling into place, man. All right? We see it because our eyes are open. Speaking of our spiritual eyes, we can see that. The average people, they just think it's business as usual, man. It's going to be one day where everything's just going to crumble for them, man. All right? And it says, verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her, take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go, everyone, into his own country. For her judgment reaches unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. The Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord our power, man. So there's going to come a point where all these other nations are going to be leaving out of America, man. Right? America's known as the great melting pot, but these other nations are going to realize that war is at the brink, and they're going to leave and go to their own country. Okay? Because it's not going to be a regular war. It's going to be an actual nuclear war, man. Okay? So anyone who's left in that land is going to be completely destroyed. All right? This is what the future holds, man, for America. All right? And once that happens, guess what? We're going to be next up, man. All right? We're going to be the next rulers. Okay? Not because of our power, but because of the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. He chose us to be that chosen people, man. All right? Going back to even before Adam, man. Because it says that the first fruits were chosen from before the foundation of the earth, man. All right? So after the first fruits were created, the nation of Israel was created. Then the other nations were created. All right? So this is predestination, man. All right? And all these other nations have to answer for that. Every other nation that's not of our people, of the nation of Israel, they're all going to have to answer for that. Because guess what? They all had our people in captivity. All right? And they all hate our people, you see? So these other nations are going to be going into slavery right along with their buddy Esau, man. And they're going to show their hate to Esau in that time. That's when they're really going to show their hate. They're starting to show it now, but it's like a boss that you hate. You know what I'm saying? You might hate him, but you're not going to show him outwardly that you hate him, right? Because he's your boss. So you might talk about him behind his back. That's what they're doing with the so-called white people right now. They're talking shit about them, okay? I fucking hate these people, but they're not really as overt as we are, okay? Because we're coming up bold and they're directly telling them they're the devil. They're going into slavery, all right? Matter of fact, that's in Wisdom of Solomon, right? You get that? Because it's prophesied that we'd be doing that, right? That we'd be speaking in the face of the people who destroyed us in the first place, man, and telling them their judgment. Let's get Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. This is Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and verse 1, and it reads, Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, right? And made no account of his labor. So that's what we're doing. We're standing in great boldness, man. Me, I'm out here on the solo in great boldness, man. Cursing out groups of these devils, all right, about what they've done and what their judgment is, man. The Spirit of the Lord has to be on you to do something like that, man. Right? Especially on the solo, you know. Let me read that again. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as has afflicted him and made no account of his labor. So we're not going to be hiding in no building, all right, preaching to a congregation. We'll be out here in the open, all right, against the elements, all right. The people could come up, they could do whatever. They could try to act up, try to act wassy, okay, act tough. They could do all that, but we've been through all that, you know. You see, so that's what a true prophet of the Most High would be doing. They wouldn't be coming out once a month, man, or once a year, and none of that foolishness. They would be out here consistently cursing out these devils. And it says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor, because they're not expecting us to be those people. See what I'm saying? But the Most High said what? They're gonna say within themselves, us fools, okay? We didn't consider that these were the people. All right? We had them as a proverb of reproach. What's a proverb of reproach? Nigger, spick, you know, nègre, and all that shit, however they say it in French. All right? That's all proverbs of reproach. Savage, that's a proverb of reproach. Okay? For the Native Americans, the Latino, all that. All right? So the Most High is going to say, listen, these are my people. These are the sons of God. And then they're going to be shocked. They're going to be like, oh shit, we did all this, and these were the people of the Most High. Okay? So what do you think is going to happen to them? Right? You're an Israelite, man. You're an Israelite, Native American brother, all right? Stay easy, eh? Stay safe, eh?
Sure.
Stay safe. That's right. Our time is coming soon. Don't watch nothing. All right? This is I'm just teaching the truth of the Bible, you know? To our people, man, to wake them up, get them back on the right path with the Most High, you know, so that because we're the next rulers. These people are done, right? These people, their time is done. Okay, these Edomites, their time is done. Our time is up. See? And it says, let me start at verse 2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. All right, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for, right? Because they're not going to be expecting us to be the people of God, you see? So it's far beyond all that they look for, all right? And it says, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. What's a proverb of reproach? That's like an insult, right? Like we call somebody a nigger, that's a proverb of reproach. Right? Call somebody a spit, that's a proverb of reproach, you know? A savage, that's a proverb of reproach. It's all derogatory terms, so to speak. Okay? And it says, we fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of the Most High, and his lot is among the saints? Therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness hath not shined unto us. And the Son of Righteousness hath not rose upon us, man. That's what they're going to say. They're going to be ashamed in that day. You see? That's it, man.
You know what I do?
What's up,
I
man?
do everything I do every day.
Yeah?
I do not pay tax. Never.
It's all good, man. It's all good, bro. It's all good, bro.
No, but tax.
Let me ask you something. You believe in the Most High?
Sure.
For sure. Good. Good.
But I believe also that the devil asks for tax to
Absolutely.
pay for his oil, which is the blood of the earth.
Absolutely. Oh, the oil is the blood. You're right. Absolutely right.
I know that.
Absolutely right, brother. You're absolutely come. You're absolutely right, brother. That is the blood, right? And they're gonna get messed up for touching the blood of the earth. They're gonna get messed up. You stay easy, bro. I'll see you around, eh? I'll
Always.
see you around, brother.
Always.
Be easy,
I'll be
man.
here.
Shalom,
I'll be here.
shalom,
I'll be
shalom.
here. Yes, sir. Amen.
All right, there we go, man. You know, he said he believed in the Most High, so I gave him something, man. All right, if they say they don't believe in the Most High, that's my thing now, man. Because when you read the book of Tobit, that's what Tobit said, man. He didn't just give he didn't just give help to people, any old homeless person, any old person in poverty. He made sure that they believed in the Most High. If I can find that, I'll find it, man. He said for sure. He said for sure. Asked me to believe in the Most High. He said for sure, for sure. Yeah. Let's get a. Damn, I can't seem to find this.
Escribe este lado.
Why? Because one of the biggest buildings in downtown. I don't know.
Right. Salakia. Here it is. This is Tobit 2 and verse 1. Salakia Hakim. Bear with me. It says, now when I was come home again, and my wife Anna was restored unto me with my son Tobias in the feast of Pentecost, which is the holy feast of the 7 weeks, there was a good dinner prepared me, in the which I sat down to eat. And when I saw the abundance of meat, I said to my son, go and bring what poor man soever thou shalt find out of our brethren, right, who is mindful of the Lord, and lo, I tarry for thee. All right, so he had stipulations for that poor person to get that, man. You see what I'm saying? He said, listen, man, make sure it's a poor man of our brethren. All right, make sure he's of Israel. All right, and make sure he's mindful of the Most High. Make sure he believes in the Most High and he does the will of the Most High to the best of his ability, man. All right, so you don't just be giving alms to this anybody, man. Excuse me. And that's why I asked him that question. That's why I said, listen, do you believe in the Most High? He said, yes. I said, all right, let me give you what change I have, man. All right? You see? Because you give it, the scriptures also says, know who thou doest good to, right? Because you could be giving this person, money or whatever, and that could be a pedophile, man. All right? That could be a murderer, a scumbag, man. Okay? So you got to know who you're doing it to, man. First, you got to be of an Israelite descent. You got to be of your brethren. And then he gotta be of a good rapport, at least make sure he believes in the Most High. Because obviously at this point our people are completely lost. That's why the main alms is who you give it to. The main alms you give it to the brotherhood, man. The apostles, the elders, you help out the brotherhood because we know about the Most High. We're doing the will of the Most High to the best of our ability. So that's who you really should be given to ultimately. Okay. So what we can do is this, man. I'm gonna jump down, and he's gonna go into that. The gift, like when you do that, you get a blessing from that, man. All right. The Most High will bless you for that. And it says, give alms of thy substance, and when thou givest alms, let not thine eye be envious, neither turn thy face from any poor, and the face of the Most High shall not be turned away from thee. If thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly. If thou have but a little, be not afraid to give according to that little. But thou layest up a good treasure for thyself against the day of necessity, man. All right. So when you help a brother, right, you're giving up that alms, but spiritually you're giving yourself a blessing, man. Because the Most High is going to make sure you're good, man. All right? That's what you have to do. But a person without faith, he's not going to take that into consideration, man. And that's how Esau is, man. Esau was all about now, give me now. All right? That instant gratification, man. He needed that right now, man. He couldn't wait, man. You think Esau could have waited, man? But the Most High, he was offered the kingdom, man. All right? So he could have got the kingdom, but he sold out for what? A piece of raw meat, man. Okay? Or uncooked pottage, man. You see? That's the spirit of Esau today. Everything's microwaved, Oh, no, let's make GMO plants so they can grow faster. Bless them. Let's make GMO plants so they can grow faster. All right? That's all about instant gratification, man. Okay? Which is really destructive at the end of the day. All right? And 2/3 of our people are in that same spirit, man. They're in the same spirit of Esau Edom. That's why Yahweh Shai said what he said in what's that, John 8 and 44. Let me get that real quick, man. Because they're in that same spirit of Esau, man. This is This is John 8. This is John 8. Can't be finding things sometimes. This is John 8 and 44. And it reads, ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. For he is a liar and the father of it, man, because he's a liar, man. All right? So they're following after their father, the devil, man. And when it says he was a murderer from the beginning, who is that going back to? That's going back to Cain, man. Because these Edomites, these so-called white people, they're in the spirit of Cain, man. Okay? That's Cain coming back. All right? There was Cain and Abel that came back in the reincarnation as who? Jacob and Esau, man. All right? And that's what's playing out right now. That story of Jacob and Esau. Right? This is what the scriptures all entail, man. If you're dealing with somebody who says they know the scriptures, if they're not telling you about Jacob and Esau, then they don't really know the Bible, man. Okay? Because that's what the Bible's speaking about. The whole story is about Jacob and Esau. The Lord Yahushua being the deliverer of Jacob, all right, and he's coming to take down Esau. Let's get on 2nd Ezra real quick. Just 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. 2nd Ezra 6 and verse 9. No matter of fact, I'll start up at verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him. Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. So that's the beginning and the end, man. It's speaking about Jacob and Esau. All right? So it's not speaking about nothing else, man. Why? Because those are the two main characters in the story. And it says, for Esau is the end of the world. What you see now, this is all Esau, man. Esau built up this kingdom. All right? For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So our kingdom is coming right after this one, man. All right? Because the Most High is going to send back his son Yahushua to take this kingdom down, man. Okay? And it says, the hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question, Ezra, asked thou not. Okay? So the angel basically told him, man, you don't need to know no more, because that's the end. That's basically the conclusion of the matter, man. All right? There's Jacob, which is the righteous, the good people in the story. And then there's the Edomites, man, which is the villain. And that's who's running things right now. Okay? These Edomites that you see, these so-called white people you see, they're Edomites, man. All right? They're part of that villain race. Okay? And the Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right? But if you really want to go deep, only the majority of our people, they've gone to the dark side, in other words. All right? They're part of the villains, Goonies, man. All right? The only thing that's left is the elect. And the elect, they can't touch the elect, man. The elect is untouchable, because the Most High has that hedge around the elect, man. They can't touch the elect, man. The scripture says what? That the angels a cap around them that fear the Lord, man. Okay, so they can't touch the elect. Let's get Zechariah 13 and 8, man. This is Zechariah. Zechariah 13 and verse 8, and it says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. Right? So the 1/3 is going to go through the fire, and they're going to come out purified. Right? But the 2/3, what's going to happen? They're going to get burned up in that fire. In other words, they're not going to make it past the adversity, you see? Because the Most High is not going to have that hedge around them. Only the ones with the hedge is going to make it past, man. You see? Now we'll bring the third part through the fire, and we'll refine them as silver is refined, and we'll try them as gold is tried. And they shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my power. All right, so the Lord is going to be reconciled first with the elect, and then the rest of the nation is going to come through the seed of the elect. All right, because according to the scriptures, reincarnation is very real, man, and you can't break down the Bible if you don't understand reincarnation, man. All right, it's quite impossible. The fact that that it said that they would have to come back and prophesy, that the apostles would have to come back and prophesy to many people, many kindreds, different tongues from the ends of the earth. That never happened during that time. Okay? So what was the Lord speaking about? Because they never went to the other side of the earth, which would be here. Okay? This is where Gad, Reuben, and all these other tribes were at. They never traveled over here. So that was speaking about in their next life. You see? Because like I said, without understanding reincarnation, you can't really understand the scriptures. You won't understand why the Lord said that John the Baptist came in the spirit of Elijah, man. He came in the spirit of Elijah because that was Elijah, man. All right? The prophets come back in their lot every time. They do the same thing that they've always been doing, man. They don't do nothing different. You weren't a prophet in the ancient world, and you just come back as a musician or a baker or a cook. Nah, man, you're gonna come back. You might be doing that, but your main job is to be what? A prophet, to prophesy. All right. Matter of fact, the promise that the elect got was a promise that was going to take place on earth, man. That was an earthly promise, man. That wasn't a promise for the heavens, man. All right. Speaking about the ownership of different nations, that can only be done on earth. All right. Let's get that real quick. Revelations, the 2nd chapter. This is Revelations 2:25, and it says, "But that which ye have already hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of potter shall be broken to shivers, even as I received from my Father. And I will give him the morning star. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches," man. All right. So for you to be ruled with an iron scepter, that has to be physical, man. Ain't no angel holding no iron scepter, man, bashing people over the head, man. All right. No, that's not gonna happen. That's gonna happen here on earth, right? Just like Esau ruled, right, with an iron scepter in wickedness, we're gonna do that in righteousness. Okay. And all these other nations, they're going to come to the Israelites to learn the ways of righteousness, right? Which proves that those people in the land right now are not the true Israelites, because nobody's going there to learn the laws of the Most High. They're not keeping the laws of the Most High. They're having the biggest gay parades in Tel Aviv, down there in Israel. Is that according to the Bible, man? Is that a custom of the Israelites? Absolutely not, man. First of all, everyone would be put to death on sight for that, man. You kidding me? Okay? Right? So they have the biggest gay parades over there, and they have pig factories, man, where they actually serve a whole bunch of pork, man. And there's a company up there that's actually doing very well. If that's the land of the Lord, do you think a company like that would be even exist? No, man, because the Most High said what? That the law shall come out of Israel. Matter of fact, let me just get that real quick. I might end it on this. Isaiah the 2nd chapter. Any so-called Jew that comes up to you, man, these Israelis come up to you, man, they tell you any stupidness about them being the Jews. Let's read Isaiah the 2nd chapter, man. That chapter alone proves that they can't be the people. Why? Because they don't fit the prophecy. Point blank period, man. They're not doing anything that the scripture says that they were supposed to be doing. Okay? And it says, this is Isaiah 2 and verse 2, and it says, "And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains." And the mountains represent governments. "And shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the power of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem, man. So you're going to be learning righteousness in the laws of Israel, man. All right, in the land of Israel, excuse me. When the Israelites are in that land, man. Which proves that they're not here, man. Okay? So when we get into that land, that's when righteousness is going to be established, man. Under Yahushua. Right? And where's King David, man? If you're of one of if you're of the nation of Israel, then King David should be there too. Right? You're supposed to be, the Most High said he's going to build up the house of David, man. As of old. And King David would be there amongst the people, man. He's clearly not over there now. And it says, and he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. All right, so listen, man, there's not supposed to be no more war, right? If they were real Israelites, there would be no more war, man. That's right, brother. All right, there will be no more war. Okay, but there's war all over the world, man. As soon as they touched that land, there was a bombing, man. All right, there was a bombing that happened as soon as they touched that land. Okay, which shows you what they're not the Israelites, man. We're the Israelites, man. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we're the true Israelites according to the Bible, man. All right? That's why people are so destitute, because that's what was prophesied to happen to them, man. All right? Point blank, period, man. But the Most High is taking us out of that state and putting those curses upon our enemies, man. That's what we're waiting for, man. Okay? So with that, we give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash, and Shalom to sincere Akhir, man.